Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jeannie and I created this platform to tell my stories of the paranormal, aliens, and angels. I have a story today that is pretty recent and it's still ongoing. It's about a coworker and she was telling me about a weird experience at her house. Her animals have been acting funny and she was a little concerned, a little scared, and she'd felt a presence in her room, and a shelf had fallen off in the middle of the night when nothing had happened to it before. It had been there for years and years and years. So I was curious, and I also spiritually clean houses. So I thought, well, I'll offer my services. I went over and I'd been to this house before, but I'd only stayed outside. It was a barbecue. So she had told me, hey, my mother-in-law is going to be leaving and it's just going to be us. So the mother-in-law was there, super sweet lady. I did kind of feel a little weird when I walked in, and I kind of opened up my senses, and I definitely started to feel very shaky on my legs and in my arms. And so I just hung around, chatted with her. I even cut her hair. I went to go cut her hair. So I kind of got a little bit of a look around, and she showed me around a little bit upstairs while the mother-in-law was getting ready to go outside to leave. And once she was getting ready to leave, the mother-in-law kept coming back in, forgot, her keys. Then she'd come back and say, I forgot my phone. Then I forgot, water, that kind of a thing. So she came back about 6-7 times, and then she eventually left. And I don't know, I thought that was kind of weird, but maybe you'll understand it later on in the video when I get through all of this, and you could probably see why she was doing this. So once she left, I asked my friend to put on the ripple effect from TikTok, and I told her to just follow me around and see if I could pick up the same thing that the ripple effect was picking up. So I already know what I pick up, I already know what I see, but I wanted to see if this was a legit app. So we walked around, and I had originally started feeling some things around the bathroom at the in the family room section, right next to the garage door. And I wouldn't go in there. I just kind of told her, this was in between the mother-in-law leaving, coming back, kind of a thing. So I told her there was something in that bathroom, and I told her I just don't feel right. So once the mother-in-law left, I went back to that bathroom area, and I didn't feel anything. So I thought, perhaps it left, or maybe it's in the garage. So we went to go look in the garage. It was full of stuff, and I only felt something in a cabinet that had a kitchen knife in it, and it wasn't a very strong feeling, but I did feel something. And the rest of the garage was cleared, and I didn't feel anything else in there. So we walked back inside the house, and I thought it was pretty strange that the bathroom just didn't feel anything anymore, because it was a very heavy feeling when I first felt it. So as I walk in front of her and she's recording me on the ripple effect, I stopped in front of that chair that was right in front of the sliding door, and I started to feel uneasy. I felt a headache. The chair was to my right, so my headache was on my right side. So I did feel uneasy, and I felt shaky, very, very shaky. My heart was fluttering also, and so I stopped, and I thought, well, there's something here. And she said, well, I do see it on the app. I see it on the ripple effect. And so I went around to the camera where she was still filming, and it was all lit up. And I'd seen some comments before where they say, oh, well, it's just going to light up when it sees a human form, because sometimes you'll see a lamp in the distance, and it's like on a table, and it kind of gives an outline of a human. But no, this does not feel shaped like a human. This was a big, huge black massage chair, plugged in, electrical, that kind of thing. So I thought that was interesting. So I feel like it does work. So back to the story. I had to take a break quite a few times in this evening when I was with her, because I started to feel I couldn't get rid of the shakiness, the feeling of unease. There was a lot of clutter around. There was a lot of clutter on the. It's a huge house, and there was a lot of clutter, just things just parked next to the, the sofas and on the counters, and just a lot of stuff. And I noticed that there was a mirror, a small mirror, placed right next to that massage chair, just standing up on the side of it. And I thought it was a weird placement. But my friend just said, well, yeah, sometimes things get taken out of the garage and, she'll place it anywhere and it just stays there forever. So, I just didn't think anything of it. We went through the house. We kind of got like a quick little survey of what was going on and to see, what I would feel. But I did the bottom, I did downstairs first. And I wanted to make sure that I really evaluated everything and then just told her what I felt on the hot spots kind of a thing. I noticed the front door, I had like I don't know where it was a mat, a gray like rug, but every time I stepped on it right in front of the door, I had a really uneasy feeling. I felt really, my head was hurting. It was very, very tight feeling. So I just stepped off of it and I would feel better. And I did it all around the rug, and I told her there's something going on with this area right here. And she said, well, that was where my cat was making these weird guttural meowing sounds. She says, my cat's never done that before, and her eyes were really big, and she was looking up at something. She goes, I don't know what it was, but one night we saw her and we just thought, well, that's weird. So I thought, well, maybe because, cats, dogs, every animal, and babies, they can really sense a lot of things. So I always tell people, pay attention to babies and animals and drunks, alcoholics, because, they have that energy still. They're still, feeling that sixth sense. So anyways, we go into the living room. I tell her I feel like a huge feeling on top of me. I feel like there's something heavy coming down on me to where it was irritating the back of my neck. And I told her everything just feels like it's crushing me. And the sofas were laid up to where one of the sofas was right in front of the fireplace, like right up, like it was a wall. I thought that was kind of weird. And I just told her there's something upstairs. A lot of stuff I feel a lot coming from upstairs. So I told her, let's go upstairs. Let's take a look. So as I was walking up the very first, it's like 5-6 steps, then it was a landing, and then like another 5-6 steps, and then it was just like the main part of this upstairs. So as I was just going up the very first part of the steps, I started to feel a very shaky legs. Like when a horse is born, they're very shaky. They can barely stand up. That's how I started to feel. Once I passed that set of steps, I didn't feel that as much on the other side. So I thought, okay, something's coming from that side, which is where the majority of the bedrooms were. So on my left side, as I was coming up the steps, that was the master bedroom at the very top. And then there's a walkway with a banister that looks over the balcony, the downstairs dining room front door. So right across from the master bedroom was a room, and it was a very dark room, though the blinds were open. When you first look ahead, it had a wall-to-wall cherry wood cabinets. So that was what I probably thought why it was so dark. I passed it up, I ignored it, and then there's a bathroom right across from that, and then there's a room, and then there was her room. She was using the room that belongs to her boyfriend. And he was out of town, so she just took his room. And I went and cut her hair. It was the whole purpose of me going also, besides seeing what was going on at her house. But I went and cut her hair for a little bit. We chilled out a little bit, and I had to take another break. So we were eating and snacking, and then I go through her room, and then I start to teach her to feel what her body's telling her. Like, her body will talk to her. So I picked up something. I said, let me pick up your watch. And so I grabbed one of the watches, and I told her, put it to your heart. What do you feel? So what you do is you put the object over your heart, and then you breathe in deep, but you're breathing from this section. So you're breathing in the essence of whatever's on that. You could even do it with crystals. So I put it up to mine, and I did feel something on there. It was tainted in some way. So she did it, and she was kind of thinking, She goes, I feel like my heart is skipping a beat. And I'm like, okay, well, that's it. That's telling you that something's on there. So anything bad tends to attach itself to metal objects, CDs. They have a metal inside, but jewelry especially. So you really have to. You can really check your jewelry, all your jewelry, and see if there's anything on it. So that's what I was teaching her how to do. I was showing her how to feel the feelings, and I could feel it really tense in her room. Her room was really, it felt hot. The feeling of like compressed air. It feels like air is trapped. And even though the AC was blasting on, I couldn't feel the AC. It just felt so warm in there. It's so like tight. So her room was right behind the other room that was really dark. So, you know, I wanted to assess the house first, and then I was going to go through it and spray some holy water, say some prayer. I always say the Our Father. I use the Our Father. I feel like it's a really strong prayer. So I wasn't too sure if my holy water was going to work, only because it was a couple of years old. I had gotten a gallon, and here and there I was sharing it with coworkers and giving it to them for them to use. So I took a whole bottle, and when I went over to the room that was right next to her, to the left, not the scary room, it was such a clean feeling. You just immediately felt just rejuvenated, cleared. It was like stepping out into nature. Like nature does heal you of obviously stress, but also it makes you feel like spiritually cleansed. If you walk through a river, or you just sit and listen to the sound of the leaves on the trees or water, anything like that, it's very therapeutic. Very therapeutic. Sorry, and so I felt really good in there. And the mother had just lost a loved one, and that was that person's room. So I thought, well, this person was a really good person. This is feel a really good energy in here. Very fresh. Also, the room just had a really good flow of energy and fresh air. So when I walked back out, we went straight to that room, that scary room. So what I did was I just kind of stood there, and she got the ripple effect out. So I walk in very slowly, and the room is more of a long room, so the room went more to the left. So anything that was on the right-hand side was a closet full of extra clothes, dresses and things. And then straight ahead, all the way to the window, was the cherry wood cabinets. So she also told me that there was a Murphy bed inside one of those cabinets. So I walked in, and I walked straight to the cabinet that was in front. There was boxes all over the floor and piles of clothes. So I looked to my left, and I looked out the window, and I assessed the room, and I didn't feel anything on that side, but I just looked right in front of me because I felt something coming from there. And I opened with my left hand the cabinet, and I had my right hand on the handle of the other side of it. And when I opened it, I felt something like sprinkle my arm, maybe cold wind. But I felt it had a lasting feeling afterwards. It had a scary feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but it felt like I just got sprayed with something, because I just pulled it open. I think of the wind, the air pressure, something like that. And it gave me the chills. Immediately my hair started standing up, all my arms and my legs. I mean, I shaved my legs, but I could still feel it standing up. So in there really quick, because I did not keep it open, and I didn't stay in that room after that, I managed to briefly see some spiritual statues, incense, little dishes to catch the ashes from the incense, that kind of thing, something quick, and I just closed it. I believe that the mother-in-law was Muslim, something like that, and it was not Christian stuff. And I closed it, and I told her, nope, I'm not going to go back in here. And she said, what is it? What did you feel? And I just said, there's something really heavy in here. I didn't see anything. I felt that whatever it was that was in the house had jumped to the attic, because I did feel a really heavy pressure on the top of my head, and my shoulders and my neck was starting to hurt me. So that just tells me that there's something above me and it's weighing down on me. So usually when I get a headache, that just means something like it's not good. So I told her, no, I'm not going to go back in there. And I started to describe the feelings that I had, and she said, well, okay, I was waiting for you to say something about that, because my sister-in-law had told me this is where they were sleeping when she and her husband, which is the mother-in-law's oldest son, had to stay there, I guess, before they bought a house, something like that, or they were in between houses, something like that. So they had to stay there. So the sister-in-law always had a uneasy feeling about this room, and she had one time seen a dark shadow standing there looking at her when she was in the restroom that's right across from that bedroom. So she was asking me, what did you feel? And I said, well, I described it, the tickling feeling, the tingling sensation on my arms. And I told her, like, I can't stop the hair on my body, my arms and my legs from standing up. I could just feel it. It's telling me that there's something bad here. And she says, did you see anything in there? So I didn't see anything in there. I feel like it's in the attic. And usually that happens when because I go and spiritually cleanse houses. I got a TikTok. Usually, I go clean houses, and I usually notice that the spirits or entities or demons, whatever they are, they tend to hide from me, because they're aware that I'm aware of them. And so I told her, stand in front of the door and tell me close your eyes. And I told her, I didn't even ask her to go in there, because I knew the feeling was a terrible feeling. So I told her, close your eyes and tell me what you see. And she's not psychic, she's not a psychic medium, she's nothing like that, but I felt that she already had experienced something unusual, something unnatural at that house. So I figured she would be able to see this. So she closed her eyes, and she described a being of half human, half animal. But she couldn't describe what it was. She couldn't even say what kind of the other half of the animal was. And I knew she wasn't talking about a centaur. They half horse, half human. So I looked into, in my third eye, I just kind of like closed my eyes, and I just wanted to see what I would see. And I saw the word Baphomet. I didn't know what that was. I just wrote it down, and just so I could remember it for later. And I told her the name, and she had no idea what it was. So I just thought, okay, well, that's what I got. And then I needed another break. So we went down, we had some dinner, we were chatting a little bit. And then I said, okay, well, are you ready after dinner? I said, are you ready to go and spray the house? I wanted to get it over with at this point, because I was feeling bad the whole time I was there. So we went, and we just started to spray and spray and spray. And we started in her bedroom, because I told her, well, this is not your house, so I'm really going to emphasize more on your bedroom, and then just probably the areas that you inhabit. And well, I'm running out of time right now, so I'm going to do that part 2. So just know that we left off on the spraying of the house, and if you like what you're hearing so far, please like it and leave a comment or ask a question, and I will answer your question. So stay tuned for part 2.